And then this is an embarrassing story, but for awareness of people, this is just like for awareness, like be careful out there. I got scammed. Hey besties, it's Dixie here again, and welcome to Tender After Tough, the podcast. Last week we just covered like 21 questions from 16-year-old me, and now this is not a one-way show, so I decided why not post like kind of a Q&A, like a topic that people would want to know from me. And I've got so many DMs, I've heard you. And the common topic that everybody wants to know is, as an international student, what did you do or how did you overcome the struggles to be where you are right now? That's actually a pretty good question. It's from Miss Joyce Season. Beautiful girl, amazing woman, is an international student too. And I think she just went back home and then to have her vacation and then came back again. And I hope you really had a wonderful time. So please keep in mind that I am still an international student. I am still struggling to, learn how to survive this era. And for all the international students out there who had to let go of their dreams back home, who are still lost but living every moment being lost, who bravely enough faced the challenges of being in a completely different environment, being in a completely different situation, this is all for you. I am proud of how you're able to wake up every single day to face these new challenges that you never talk about. Like, may your wallets never be empty. This is all for you. Let's talk about financial pressure. Let's talk about tuition fees. Let's talk about the costs of living. Let's talk about the restrictions that comes with being an international student. Balancing a job while studying is extremely stressful. If back home we could do that, like be in school until like 4:30 p.m. and then we've got a part-time job after 4:30. If back home we could do that, here in Australia, it's really hard to balance because the workload that they have here is completely different with the workload that we have back home. I am not degrading the workload that we have back home. I'm just saying that it really is a completely different situation, because when I came here, I'm like, yes, I can do that. I could do that because I was doing that since, I was back in the Philippines. And when I came here, unbeknown to my knowledge, I was like, oh, I can't do it. I really can't do it. It's the most stressful part of being, one of the most stressful part of being an international student, because the workload is so heavy. I do not know if you can relate to it, but you get there, it has to be like, you have to constantly do what you're doing. That's one of the stressful part in here, and include transportation. Transportation where I'm living right now is really high. The expense of transportation is really high. It's too expensive wherever you are. If you're just traveling like 2 stops away, $5.30. That's how expensive it is. But it is ridiculous, I know. But we have to live with it. One of the people that international students hate are the AOs, the Mikey Cups as we call them, but most of us do not want to touch one because it's just too expensive, and going to work like somewhat every other day, you're just losing money. You're not making money. You're like losing at least $50 a week in transportation, and here it's really expensive for us because that $50 is like, that should be our grocery expenses, not our transportation. A lot of international students does not make the same amount of money that regular workers make. We make like a fraction of what they're making, because we're just given 24 hours a week. What can we do? We're not here to work, we're here to study, okay? Here's the thing, even if there's like 24 hours, right? Like in 24 hours, you've got your expected income for the whole month. So even if you budget your money for the whole month, there's just like one emergency every month that, unbeknownst to you, there will be if you think there's not gonna be an emergency situations that you do not want to be involved in, the universe will make it. I don't know if every international student like struggles with this or has ever come with this type of situation. Like for us, it's just every month there's just one thing. Even if you budget your expected income for the whole month, it's such a waste. Like, okay, third week I'm just gonna throw this paper because like now we've got an emergency that we need to cover, and I have to I have to rebudget again. It's the financial pressure that you have, the financial stress is too difficult to handle. One of the like people who has helped me a lot in this kind of situations is the Pinoy in Melbourne group. Like this Facebook group has helped me go through a lot of situations during my financial difficulties, because from the very first months I was here until today, I still struggle with my finances. Because like there's like emergency after an emergency after an emergency, medical after a medical after a medical. And then this is an embarrassing story, but for awareness of people, this is just like for awareness, like be careful out there. I got scammed. Okay. I know why people do not talk about this, okay? I know why people do not ever want to open this like whole new chapter, this topic in their lives, because it is a very difficult situation. All right? The stress that you have during the time, to the stress when you're telling the story, and to the stress that when you're telling the story and people would be like, I thought you were smart. I thought you were, I thought you've researched all of this. Okay. Let me tell you something, okay? This may have been the worst experience of my life. It has humbled me so bad. As I said, being an international student, money is tight. Like, it is tight. So I'm like, okay, I need to do something for us to be able to like manage our finances so that we could start like paying the rent ahead of time. Like, we could start paying the bills ahead of time, because that time we did not have like any backup money. Like, if there's an emergency money, there should be an emergency money for an emergency money. We did not have that because, like, as I said, everything was budgeted, money was tight. There's specific amount for everything. And at that time, I was like, I really need to do this. So I was scrolling through like Seek, Indeed, Jora Jobs, Facebook ads. I was scrolling through that, and then I stumbled upon the post where they were like, I know it is too good to be true. I know it is, because 2 hours you could just be making $200. You know what I'm saying? It is too good to be true. But the first few steps that I did that, like, it was an ad in Seek, like, imagine that it was an ad in Seek, like a legit app where you find jobs. What was wrong at that time is that I did not ask for their ABN or something like that, their Australian business number, or to prove that they're a real company. Because then I asked, can I just go to the office and talk to you about the situation? And they went like, oh, we do not have a physical office yet because we're still working on that. My brain did not work at that time, okay? Like, my brain was like, was too focused on the 2 hours for $200. Please do not judge me. Like, please don't. Anyway, I asked that. They said they're just a ghost company or whatever, and then The next thing I know, I was making like $200 in 2 hours. That could happen for like a few days. So I was like, okay. Now we're making money. Now I want more. And then the next thing I know, the more I wanted to get my money back, the more I was losing money. You know what I'm saying? The next thing I know, it was a complete scam, okay? If you want to find a job that pays high, like please. Most of the victims of these people are like international students. They know that international students would just like bite on that bait instantly, because they know that international students need jobs that are like more money, less hours, okay? They know that. They are like really aware of that. I try that. Please don't do it. Don't do it unless a friend of yours did it and is still making money, or friend of yours that you trust is in the field. You know what I'm saying? Do not do it. If you do not have enough knowledge about how to make money that fast, if you do not have enough knowledge about that field, like completely cut it off. Like, please do not do it, because then the next thing you know, you're begging money from people, and now you can't return it. Now you have to figure out a way how to return that money because they need it. That happened to me. Worst thing that has ever happened to me, okay? It was a situation that I felt like, okay, I could never get out of this. Like, how do I get out of it? I do not know how. It was hard. It was hard to talk about it to somebody. It was hard to like open up the situation, because you don't know the feeling that you have. Like, this is, to this day, this is still a hard topic. But for awareness for all the international students out there that may have fallen to the bait or are still trying to like look for jobs like that, please do not do it. Anyway, that situation has humbled me. Coming from that situation, everything else feels bittersweet. I feel like I want the earth to open and eat me. Every night I cry myself to sleep. I do not know how many hours I sleep. Every morning I wake up still crying because I do not know how to make that money back. Like, and then I don't know, it just happened. When that happened, every morning I was like, God, why? Like, why did you want me? Why did you want me to do this? Like, why did you put me in this situation? What is it? What is about the situation that I need to learn? And then it hit me. I just needed to get back to him. It hit me that since I arrived here in Australia, everything that I've had, I was never grateful for it. I was like a happy-go-lucky girl, like, okay, let it come, let the money flow, let it come. If you know me back home, you know how I'm like in church. That just like completely leveled up when I came here. Like, the growth in my spiritual well-being, it was that huge. When I got scammed, I looked up one night, 3 a.m. I went outside and I looked up and I asked, why is this happening to me? You could have given me a lot of challenges. You could have given me lesser than this. You could have given me lesser situation than this, but then you gave me this? Like, why? I was like, why, God, why? I was bawling my eyes out. What do you want me to do next? Please guide me. And then I went to church. Like Sunday that week. I went there, met like lovely people. They didn't know I got scammed. They did not know that happened. Okay, let me just put the thing aside and then, focus on what's going on. And when I met these lovely people, I knew what it was. I lost the appreciation. A father lost a child and he wants her back. So I went back to him. I kind of like had this feeling that I know this is what you wanted. I have to be very careful in the next steps that I'm gonna do, because every decision that I'm gonna make, I have to surrender it. A few weeks after, I got invited to a church anniversary. So then I went there, and one of my friends went like, "Do you just want to go up front and tell all the pastors your worries, everything that you've had trouble going through with it?" Because nobody knew about those feelings. Okay, I never openly talked about those feelings. When I was like letting it out, everything else felt lighter. And then the next thing I know, I became best friends with the Lord. If you knew me back then, I knew the Lord back then. I knew about him. I knew what he could do. I knew his people. But knowing him is completely different than meeting him. That growth, that spiritual growth, is like biggest achievement that I am so proud of myself. I was there. I met his people. I met his children. Like a completely different perspective that I have never been introduced to. Or maybe I was introduced to, but I really haven't been really open about it. Like, I haven't seen it as a really, 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 really great community, a really good environment that would really help you get through a lot of stuff. And then after that, opportunities kept coming. After that, for me to be able to overcome the scam, the biggest problem, the horrifying problem that I just got. And I was so lucky that next 2 days, a friend called me and he said, "Oh, this person is looking for you. Like, you need to come. Like, you need to come right now." So I went there. They told me about things about work, and I knew that, okay, God did answer my prayers. God did answer my prayers. God sent me a person. I am not going to let this go. So I went there. I told him about what was going on. I told him about that, and he goes, "Okay, how much do you need?" I told him the amount. I had to pay my bills off. I had to pay everything off, even my tuition fee. I had to pay that off, because if I didn't, I would have been deported like months ago. So I told him about that, and he was like, "Okay, let me sort that out until this day." So grateful, a beautiful man. He did sort that out. I got back. Okay, I got back to my bills. Now I had to figure out how to pay that, but then we agreed to a weekly payment. It was a weekly payment that was like moving. Now I have to sort out, how do I eat every day? How should I eat every day? You don't have your everyday needs. Okay, how do I get my toilet papers? How do I get my shampoos? Because then all of my money is going to paying back that money. For 3 to 4 months, I think, I was completely broke. 3 to 4 months, I was completely broke. I did not know how I survived that. I'm so lucky that during my school holidays, we are allowed to take more jobs. So I was doing photography at that time. I was filming. It was good. So then I've got like money from filming, from photography. I've got money from that, and that has like covered some of my expenses, covered some of my groceries the whole month. That was one of the most horrifying things that ever happened to me, that I had to like think outside the box. And then every major decisions that I was going to make, I was like, okay, I need to have an adult to let me know how am I going to like process this thing. And I am so glad that I did not cut people all the way through. You know what I'm saying? Because people find it like weird. This is a very hard topic, but as an international student, most of your friends are adults, okay? They're like in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s. I do not know about you, but for most of the people that I know of, they're friends with like, they're best friends with like 60-year-olds. And honestly, I do have those people, like amazing people. People find it weird and hard to believe that you're just kind of friends to people who are this age, because you know how that goes. You know how the rest of the story goes. But I am so grateful to have these people in my life. Anyway, I knew I had to. There was one major decision I was going to like doing my doing my career, like okay, I want to start this. I want to be in this company. I want to get involved in what they're doing. And it's like a really great opportunity for me because then it aligns with what I wanted. Lucky enough, I said, okay, Lord, what am I going to do next? Please let me know. The next thing you know, my phone rang and the Lord said, you need an adult. You need an adult to guide you to where you want to go. And he sent me the most perfect candidate for this one. So this person rang me and he goes, oh, what are you up to? And I go, oh, nothing. I'm just hanging around. He goes, oh, life is boring. Can we just, can we just go out and catch up? So we both went out, and I do not know. I just entered the car, and he was like, oh, so how's the job? And I go, how did you know I was looking for a job? I never spoke to you in like 3 weeks. And he goes, I don't know. It's like a conversation starter that felt like it was right. And the next thing I know, he was giving me advice on how to get into that company, on how to like manage to do the traditional way, because this company is kind of like very traditional. To this day, they do very traditional, like connections are connections, okay? Nepotism is a real thing. When you want to land a job in like big corporations or something, or maybe even in a small one, in a small cafe, when you want to land a job there, you have to know somebody, or a friend of yours has to know somebody that works inside that company. That way you could swoop in like that easy. And lo and behold, this person knows somebody working in that company, and I was like, can you like tell this person that I want to apply? And he was like, of course. The next thing I know, I got offered a job. Not a job, but an internship. And I was like, okay, that's good for me. That is really good for me, because then that would be good for my resume, because then next year if I get all of my qualifications and I apply, this would be like a good thing in the resume. As an international student, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned coming here is that college is all about making new friends. I'll tell you like, oh, college is not all about that. No, it's not. Like, honey, no, it's not. College is like all about making new friends, like meeting new people. Like, never, ever, ever, especially abroad, especially that you're on your own, limit yourself in meeting new people. Like, I am not saying like expand your circle, because we all know how that goes. It's a terrible downfall. You hear me? You relate to me? Good on you. I am one of those people who have seasonal friends. I'm not a fake. I just have seasonal friends. Like, I know people who would love to enjoy doing this with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know people who would be like, hey, do you want to go hiking? I know people who would love to go hiking, or you want to go to the beach. I know people who would love to go to the beach, or do you want to run personal errands with me? I know people who would enjoy that quality time. What I'm saying is, just meet new people, because one day you just don't know. It was hard for me to make friends, like really hard, because I do not wish to speak to people who do not speak the same language as me. Because then it's not because I do not want these people to understand what I'm saying, but it's because it's very difficult for me to like let people understand what I'm saying in a very, without them misunderstanding what I want to let them know. So like half of my stay here in Australia, it was like me being friends with people that talks almost the same language as I do. A few months later, I realized that was wrong. Like, I am so glad that I changed courses, not even related to where I wanted to be, but anyway, I changed the course, didn't have any friends in that like course. I just felt like, oh, people are rude. And then I made friends with somebody who did not completely doesn't speak. She was Thai. She did not know how to navigate things. She was completely lost during that time. She did not understand the teacher. She did not understand the teacher. She does not know how to navigate things. She didn't speak English, but she needed real help. She needed real rescue. So I talked to her. Um like we became friends after, and then the next thing I know, she was like, "Oh, do you want to work in this company because I personally know the owner? Do you want to have the position?" At that time, I was really happy where I was at, and I, I respectfully declined the offer. I said, "Okay, I'm okay. If I'm looking for a job, then I would come to you." And she goes, "Absolutely, you will get one. Just call me, contact me. Thank you for helping me get through this." I think I haven't seen her, but we're constantly in contact. I think she did finish one of the qualifications she needed, so she's done with college. Why am I saying this? Is that because people, I'm not saying that you have to let people know what you're doing, or you have to let people know where you want to be. I'm not saying that, because the social interactions that you have with a lot of people, like, people would you do not know what people would think about you. If they think you're a potential, you are a potential. Do not ever take that away from yourself. If they think that you fit in this position, you fit in that position. Just interact with people, like, make friends in college, like acquaintances, if you might say. Just go, just interact with people, because the confidence that you would have makes, I know it shouldn't define you, but it does. Like, if I'm a normal person, the confidence that I would, if you've got that confidence, I would be like, oh, I want to be friends with her. I'm saying that building the connection is really important in today's world, where everything is all about connection. Like, everything is all about, just nepotism is a real thing. Like, build the connections, because if you want to land a job where you honestly think that it is impossible to get through, you just don't know, one day you're just scrolling through your Instagram feed on a Friday night, or scrolling through LinkedIn, and you just pass by somebody who works in that specific company that you want to be in. You just don't know. Build your connections, because that's very, very, very important. Because maybe 5 years from now, you're all set. I'm just saying, like, build that confidence, build that connection. If there's two things that you want to have in your life, those are the two things. One of the struggles that most international students are facing is homesickness. This is a very, very common concept to everybody, because even overseas, like working overseas, they do have it. Just the difference with the international students who are like really young, who had to get out of the country at a very young age. Some of the people I've met here in Australia, it's kind of the same age as me when we left the Philippines, and they left the Philippines right after high school. Some of them are just set to kind of the situation where, like, be in another country where I could pursue a career, where while I am feeding a different kind of mindset, where I am feeding my knowledge in a different environment. And I think that that is really brave. People who completely stepped up and learned a completely different language. I am so proud of you. You're all really brave for doing that. Like, language barrier, excuse me, accents, language barrier, that's bravery right there. That's courage. One of the things that most people struggle with is homesickness. For me, there are times where I am heating my food in the microwave for 2 minutes. I will just, sometimes when I'm alone in the kitchen, I would just bawl my eyes out, because I'm like, damn, I miss home. I miss home cooked meals. Because most of the time we come home at like most of the students who work night shifts, they come home at 1 a.m., 12 a.m., 11 p.m. Most of the students who come home from night shifts, they come during those hours from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning. I once came home at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. because I took an overnight shift. Like, not an overnight, but a shift from 10 to 4. I once came home from 4 a.m. I did eat before I went to work, but then there's just some kind of like, during those times, it's really easy for you to get hungry. So I came home. I knew there was food in the refrigerator. I put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. I don't know. I didn't know what hit me, but I was like, I really wish I stayed. There are just the moments where you like realize that you might have made a mistake coming here. I think we all do have these moments where like there are two doors. One is the path of everybody. Your future is known. You just know where you're gonna be next. You just know the next step. Like everything is secured. The second path, like the second door, because it's just like that. I don't know if you could relate to me, but you see the vision. The second door is that's just a road less traveled. One of my favorite poetries in high school. I think it was called "The Road Less Traveled by I forgot the author. I'm really sorry. But one is the road less traveled by, and that road is where a lot of people are lost. Like this road, there's a lot of changes. There's no secure future at all. There's just the present. You go in, you figure it out. It's what happens when you leave home. You go there, you get lost, you just do things being lost. And I think that's beautiful because you get to know yourself better. You get to improve yourself better. You get to motivate yourself better. You get to see a completely different future from the future that was once secured. Do you get me? To the people who got lost in this completely different road, you are one of the inspirations that I have in my life. Personally, you're the greatest inspiration that anyone could ever have in their life. Going back to these common struggles of international students that are still here is homesickness, because you do not know where to run to. Like, yes, you do have friends, but there are things that you completely do not want to talk about. Like, there are things that you do not want to open. Like, there's just a completely different door in your system that you want it shut. Like, if someone's ever gonna come in and like open that whole door for you, it's gonna be somebody whom you really trust, or it's gonna be somebody whom you know is gonna be like would not ever judge you. Back home, every time you hit rock bottom, you know where to run to. You've got your grandparents with you, you've got your parents with you, you've got your siblings, you've got your cousins, you've got everybody else. Like, you know where to run to. But here, your problems, you're on your own. The good news and bad news of that is you're on your own. Suck it. What can they do if you tell this to your cousins or your parents or your grandparents? What can they do? They can't do anything because they're not here. They're not physically here. They can just help you when you want to talk to somebody, but that's all that they could do for you. Homesickness is missing our surrounding, our environment. The feeling where for like 18 years of our lives, we get home and there's just food on the table. There's just hot food on the table. Or like 18 years of our lives, we just wake up and we just know what to do. We just know the routine. Or 18 years of our lives, we're home and everybody's yelling at each other. that's homesickness for us. Like international students, that's what we miss. Like sometimes because here you just kind of like there's just like there's work, there's studies, and these are in completely different levels. You're a completely different person in these two things like work and studying. Work, this is a time where you just kind of like give it all, like put yourself out there until you drain yourself. Most of us are like, we see each other in school and we're like, "Ugh, I'm so tired." First thing you hear from your classmates, I am so tired. I want to go home. I just wanna lay in bed all day. But this is just like a learning ground for everybody. I think it's a learning ground for everybody, for all of the students, for all of the international students who are aspiring to come, who are still here, who are still like managing to go through their own personal things. I think this is all for us because I don't think a lot of people know what we really go through. Like we're not robots. We're not machines. Sometimes we need to rest too. The next thing you know, you're in the hospital again. Like your medical bills are eating your money. So to all the international students out there, please take care of yourself. I know this is hard, but it is a phase. It is a phase to the place where we want to be. This struggle is going to end. I know it's not easy. I know it is hard. There's failure after failure after failure, and it's okay. We all need each other. Little takeaway from that is that surround yourself with the right people so that when you feel drained, when you feel like there's nowhere else to run to, surround yourself with the right environment, surround yourself with the right people, because then they would know that she's had enough. Like she has had enough. She needs this and that, and we need to give her this and that. And it's easy to reciprocate that energy because they do it for you. You would do it for them. You know what I'm saying? The next struggle of international students is that we are always worried about like our visa status. I don't know, but I think it's every 6 months, every year, like in those time and period, every 6 months to a year, there's a lot of visa changes that we are constantly worried about. Like every day or every week, every month, we go to the internet and we go to the immigration site and just like do a research about where we're at, what's the status of our course, what's the progress, where are we going, what's the next step we're gonna make. I know it is one of the most stressful things that we are facing right now because some of our courses needs us to go to regional areas, and that's a bit hard. That's a very difficult situation because then the life that you've established here, you're gonna do it again in that regional area, and that's very difficult because you're gonna restart it again. The life you've started here, it just completely went to trash. You know what I mean? It just crumpled because of the visa restrictions, because of the visa requirements, because of the visa changes, and it keeps us really, really worried about what to do next. Though we wanna go back home, we don't want to be there. I'm gonna send back home, and then what? And then what's gonna happen to me? What happens next? Some of us do not want that. Some of us just want to constantly keep going because then the next thing you know, everything else falls into places. I do not know if I'm making any justice to what I'm saying right now, but if you get me, thank you so much. If you think that discrimination and racism is not a thing here, it is a thing. Lucky for me, I haven't had that experience, but one of my flatmates had that. He was actually in a train. He was really in that position where he was really tired, really hungry, really sleepy, and he went inside the train, and then there's like these young girls, and these girls were like, "Oh, there's a Filipino guy right there. He smells really bad." You can't please a person who is hungry, sleep deprived, and just really want to go home. He went like, me, Filipino, smells really bad. How about you? How about you? This girl just went running out the station. Anyway, the next thing that I knew was somebody who was working in aged care. He was taking care of like a 60, 70-year old person. This person did not want him to take care of her. No, I completely want somebody who's just not Filipino. Completely random. I do not want a Filipino person taking care of me. Like, if you know a Filipino person, you would know that they take good care of you. That's what we import in the world. Like, our hard work. I'm kidding. Like, I'm really kidding. Sorry. It just caught me off guard when these people who needs help, like, who needs us, like, who needs that kind of care, does not want specific races to take care of them. I do not know if this is talked about enough or not, but this is just like one of the precautions or maybe awareness to some people who kind of have these expectations about where they're going. What I'm saying is they do happen. I'm just really lucky that I haven't had that experience yet. It's just really discouraging because, I once asked one of my friends, how did that feel? Like, how did it feel to be, I know it is a wrong question to ask, but I just asked, how did it feel? And he goes, I don't know. I just don't see people as their races. I see them as human beings. Well, yes, they've got flaws. We know races. We know a lot of we know about their attitudes, we know about their culture, we know about the good and bad in this particular races, but I just didn't think that it was gonna be them who use my nationality against me. Like, they hate me because what? I'm Filipino. They hate me because what? I came from a third world country. They hate me because what? And that really hit deep. Anyway, there's this myth where everybody says that international students have all the time in the world to travel and explore the city that they're in, or the continent that they're in, or the country that they're in. That is a myth. Again, as I was saying, we've got work limitations, we've got work restrictions. It's not like we have all the money in the world to go above and beyond of what we're earning. Like, we need to earn, enable for us to sustain our everyday needs. It's not like we need the money for us to be able to go outside the country and explore a whole new different environment. No. Well, good for those people who can travel, like, who can work here and use that money that they've earned to travel around the continent. Like, good on those people. I just wish we could have that privilege for, like, we earn the money and then we go travel. I just wish we could have that privilege, but no, that's really a myth. Being an international student is both a blessing and a curse. We do have those privileges, but we also have, like, a lot of restrictions. It is, international students are constantly learning every day about the laws and social awareness of the country that they're in. They're constantly stressed about what to do next if their visa expires, constantly stressed about their financial responsibilities. This topic is just like for awareness that international students also struggle. I'm not degrading people who want to be an international student. I'm not degrading people who want to come and explore a different country. That's such a good choice. Actually, that's a really brave choice. Like, look where it got me. It got me here. Okay, it got me constantly learning about life. It got me constantly learning about what it really is to be in a completely different environment. It got me constantly learning about what it really means to find a real job. It got me constantly learning that life is not just about rainbows and butterflies and sunshines. It's also about how you would get out of dark places. Sometimes there are lights, sometimes there are bad and good, sometimes there's just constantly happiness, sometimes there are sad days. It is challenging, and that, I think that's life. Like, naturally, that's how humans have to be. I mean, the perfection that we want to have in our lives means that we humans need to at least experience struggles in order for us to become better at what we do. You know what I'm saying? We need to be in such phases. Like, phase one is the struggle, okay? Phase two is the mental health struggle. Phase three is the financial responsibility. Phase four is about being an adult. Phase five is like looking for a job. Phase six, we just really need that. I am not degrading people who wants to be international students. If you want to be one, please do. It is a really great choice. I think it is a really great, like, motivation for some people. You are an inspiration to a lot of people, okay? If you're making that choice, you are an inspiration to a lot of people. We would want to hear how you got there. That is such a brave step to take. But most of us just want to end the common misconception that international students are just having the life they want to have. That also comes with, like any other people, that also comes with struggle. This struggle is just for awareness that this happens too. I was meant to actually feel those emotions. I was meant to be able to get through those situations, because if I couldn't get there, if I couldn't get out of that situation, then what am I doing with my life? Please, please, please. As I said, I am still an international student. I am still struggling with where I'm at today. But not as much as I've struggled the first year that I was here. This is for the people who bravely enough face the challenges of being in a new environment, who never talked about the struggles that they've had, who had to sleep at night crying in their bed. This is for those people. Again, may your wallets never be empty. And who's, as I said, I'm still learning. Right now, I just want to be patient, loving, caring to the people that surrounds me, because I just want to bring happiness to other people. I just want to bring awareness to other people. I just want to be that person. Thank you so much for listening. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for being here. Again, this is Tender After Tough, the podcast by Dixie Misty. Love you. Bye.